Would you rather, for the rest of your life, your occupation would be to pick belly button lint out of people's belly buttons, like like full lint?
It's like a fun little game.
Yep. Or
That's your job.
that's it. Yeah, that's your job.
That's what
Just
you
all
do
day
every
long.
day, 8 hours a day.
Yes.
All right.
8 hours a day. Just picking the
Picking
fuzzies.
belly button lint.
All right, hit that time
Picking the
clock.
fuzzies.
Picking belly
Or
Clocking it.
button. Got the old timestamp.
$12.50 an hour. I can't get a raise for this.
or would you rather pick people's noses to clear them out, but you only have to work half the year? Same pay.
$12.50 an hour.
Enough to
Sweet.
support yourself.
Half the year, so
Oh man.
Twice the whole. Welcome to episode 16 of the BDE Sports Talk podcast. My name is Bill, one of your hosts, along with co-hosts and the brothers of mine, Eddie and Dean. Fellas, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good.
freaking crushing it, man. You kidding me? It's Lions week 1. Come on.
Oh, careful.
No, I'm not
Knock your
gonna
whole
be
set
careful.
over.
My set. You should see this. It's intense.
Well, that's good. Glad to hear it. I'm doing pretty well. I'm ready for Thursday, as you can see. So, big week. A lot of fun last week with college games. Looking forward to week 2. So, before we get into today's episode, just want to say thank you for watching our episodes and feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to comment. And feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we come out with new episodes, which includes now Pick'em Show, which if you want to know how we did, check that out. So
You're about to win some money this week, so you check it out.
Yeah.
If you haven't already.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. It's a lot of fun. Nice quick episode. So with that said, Eddie, how was your weekend?
Killer, man. It was good. I mean, my oldest kid, he had kind of celebrated his birthday, like the stuff he wanted to do. So, which was basically just hang out with his best friend and play Xbox. He got an Oculus, the newest Oculus, for a gift. So they were doing that, obviously. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I took them to see Blue Beetle, which was pretty good.
What's Blue Beetle?
It's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah. Blue
What is
Beetle.
it?
What's Blue Beetle? It's a DC
Yeah.
movie, man. It's the newest DC superhero movie.
Huh.
It was like an update. If you saw like the old school costume, it would be like a faint bell that rang to you. Obviously,
Mhm.
wasn't a super popular
Right.
superhero, but it was a good movie. The kid from the Miguel from Cobra Kai. Did you guys watch
Okay.
Cobra Kai? He's kind of the lead, and he does a really good job.
Okay.
It's good. George Lopez is in it. He's pretty funny.
I think I know who you're talking about now, actually.
Yeah. So enjoyed that. It was, expectations were fairly low going into it. So
Right. That always helps.
coming out, I was like, that was good. Watched BS High, Bishop Sycamore. Did you end up watching that, Bill? Or you hadn't got to that yet? That was good.
Nope.
It was good.
Was it better than
Yeah.
Swamp Kings?
Oh, by far. Yeah. I mean, Swamp Kings is good if you just like to watch how a good football team did good. Like they didn't give you the juice. that they should have given you. It's a good football. Like Swamp Kings is great for just football. Bishop Sycamore, BS High, that was solid, just all around. And I'd love to talk to you guys about it after you watch it. But
is it a high school team?
Well,
kinda.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. now.
Yeah.
It's the one where it's like grown ass men on the team. Or whatever.
They played
Like,
IMG on ESPN.
Dominating these kids, man.
It is incredibly interesting.
I bet.
And it's just different. Yeah, you guys definitely check it out. It's on HBO or Max or whatever. Other than that, I grabbed like a half gallon of whiskey, sat in the high school parking lot, and let it rip, man. Just kidding.
Put your jersey on. Put your old jersey
Put my
on.
old jersey on. I do have my varsity. I look this way because I can see my varsity
the sleeves
jacket from
up.
here.
Rolled the sleeves up on it. Sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah, roll a pack of smokes up in my old jersey and
rented
let it rip, man.
Old Tacoma or something. Just leaning on
it. No, but Saturday was based around Aiden stuff. We have practices, like I said last week. We have practices every day, so it's like not a whole lot else going on, especially when it's that hot. But
right.
That was it for me, man.
Nice. Dean, I kind of know what you did this weekend.
Golf. But terrible is now determined on what you think is bad. I hit 90s all weekend.
Dang, dude, that's sweet.
94 on Sunday. I was pretty jacked up about it. Easy course, though, in fairness. And then I hit a 99 yesterday.
In fairness, week 1 of this episode 1 of this show, dude, you were only going over 100.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So that's awesome.
I've played a lot of golf, and it's been documented apparently for the last 4 months or so. But on top of that, I watched something a little bit more interesting than Blue Beetle. So I was watching.
You don't know that.
It's a little okay, maybe not more interesting, but more.
Debbie
gross.
Does Dallas is not more interesting than Blue Beetle, Dean. All right, just straight up.
The rewind button on my VCR is getting pretty old tapes I'm finding. Yeah. I was watching this clip, and they were talking about hoarders and this, and he was just talking. They wouldn't show it, so I had to look it up. This lady has been hoarding poop for literally like 2 decades, and there's like it's in bottles and poop. Yeah, her own poop. It's in water bottles. They're like, oh, it's just like dirty water, but it's feces water. And the funniest part about it was Shane Gillis. He was like, look at her eating soup next to the poop. She's eating a bowl of soup.
Dude.
Just surrounded by your poop. It was insane. She's like, what's that? They're like, you don't notice the smell? She's like, yeah, from all the mold and dust. she's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's the poop. She's like, what? I didn't know. You gotta tell me because I wouldn't know.
The Dookies? No.
But her toilet got so messed up that she was like, I didn't want to overflow it, so she started going in a bucket. And it gets too full, so she would like just dude, it was awful. It was pretty rough. It was a rough one. And
you guys know how to get my nostrils going, man. It just doesn't go down. Like, dude, just sitting around in that.
And then like when they were trying to clean it out and get her out, she's like, I gotta go eat in there one last time. Like,
no, you don't. No,
they're
you
like,
don't.
No. They're like, it's just like. It's like when people do drugs, like they got to get that one last high. I got to go in there and eat the contaminated food one more time. They're like, why? It's like, I have to. We're like, man. So I don't know if that's more interesting than Blue Beetle or not, but
no, I wouldn't say it's more interesting. It's freaking disgusting, dude.
Depends on the person.
Yeah, it does. Interesting.
I do like superhero movies.
Yeah, I think both you guys would enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, it was
I want to
as long as now that me saying this doesn't raise your expectations very high. If you just go and thinking, okay, Blue Beetle, I have no idea who that is, and I know it's a superhero movie, and it is what it is, you'll enjoy it.
You gotta look at it like Doctor Strange, kind of. You know, I had no idea who he was, but maybe I'm in the minority of that.
I didn't have no idea.
I don't know. So when it popped up, I was like, I'll give it a shot. You know, it's not as good as that, I assume. Or is
It's
it?
better.
No, come on.
It depends what you like.
Now you've raised the
Yeah.
expectation.
Honestly,
too
when you
high.
go there, you have to ask yourself, are you a racist or not? And then go from there. I'm not.
And I loved it.
And I did. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the sequel. Honestly,
I don't want to be a racist.
Well, good.
Well, you
That's
already
awesome.
Oh, gee, let's not get that out there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's spreading around the internet. That's cool.
Hey, man. What are you gonna do?
Hey,
I'd
good
like
job
for
on
not to do that.
good job on the 90s this weekend.
Yeah, I was pretty happy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
My weekend was busy, a lot of traveling, a lot of not relaxing. Had a pretty good day Saturday, and then Sunday got to golf with a buddy in the evening, which is always nice. And then I watched a superhero movie in itself yesterday. Lyle Crocodile.
Mm.
Yeah. 2022 film.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, so I wasn't I wasn't really going to go into it, but
you should.
Could you imagine the real life situation where this crocodile is just like the part where the sorry, spoiler alert.
I was gonna watch it, check it out later, but
the part where she's like looking at her phone of her, the kid and when he was younger, and she's like all sad, and the crocodile brings out this like fruit for her to like have her remember her past, that whole story. The crocodile, like, unbeknownst to the lady, this crocodile is just staring at her. Could you imagine in a real life situation where a crocodile is just staring at you and you just never knew it?
Can it talk?
No, it can only sing.
It'd probably freak me.
I can't imagine either
one.
Just start singing to you.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you make requests.
Mark,
let me love you.
So
yeah.
That was pretty much my weekend. So we'll get into today's episode real quick. We'll start with some news. Miggy 17th all time, passing George Brett on the all time hits list. Congrats to him. And the only other thing I really have right now is I saw an article where Andre Drummond says he should be in the Hall of Fame. That his career resume says this. Thoughts on that?
Dean, do you want to kick that off?
Yeah, I don't really have. I think it's pretty. I mean, you could, as with anybody in the NBA, I think. Well, maybe not anybody, but people that have piled up some sort of stats, right? Because obviously, if you're going to give him anything, it would be he's an incredible rebounder, or at least was. I mean, you got to give him that. But is the one statistical category enough to get you in the Hall of Fame? I mean, you could ask Dennis Rodman. I get it. But he was also a sweet defensive player as well. Andre Drummond just gets rebounds. Well, yeah. Well, I think he had four.
Yeah,
four rings. Yeah.
Wow, what do you got on that, Bill? You look like to be pretty jacked up over that rebound situation.
But no, okay. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. long story short, he's not.
I was going to ask Dean. He said, "Do you regard him as the greatest rebounder ever?" He called himself the greatest rebounder ever.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
Well,
There's an argument.
if you want me to go in, there is one small argument for him there. Actually, and there is a stat. He was an elite rebounder.
Mhm.
His total rebound percentage, which is, a new ESPN type of stat, is 24.85, which is actually the best ever. 24.85, which is basically the total amount of rebounds you collect during your time on the court. So a quarter of the time he was on the court, he was getting the rebound. Now, on top of that, which is why I would say it's an ESPN stat, because they don't have the stats to back that up past 1970, like before 1970. So you think like Bill Russell, he was probably an elite rebounder too. But if you go down that road, so that's the only case for me for Andre Drummond. And we say rebounds first. If you just go all-time rebounds, he's 43rd on the list. 43rd all-time in rebounds, behind guys like Johnny Kerr, Otis Thorpe, Tyson Chandler, Paul Silas, all of which those guys are not in the Hall of Fame. Then you go blocks. He's 89th all-time in blocks. I didn't list those guys, but I did list a couple. Thurl Bailey, you know him? He's number 88, right in front of Andre Drummond. Miles Turner's in front of Andre Drummond in blocks, for crying out loud. And that kid, I think he's still playing. Bo Outlaw.
He's only like 26 or something like that.
Yeah. And in points, Andre Drummond is 373rd all time. So I guess all that being said, I don't think he should be in the Hall.
I was gonna say, where's the small argument?
He's got the one stat.
The percentage.
His rebound percentage is recorded as the best all time.
Yeah.
So I'm sure somebody said that to him, and
he's like, I'm the best.
He's running away with it now. He's gone buck wild. And so that is the only thing in his favor. Other than that, no. Andre, no. Nobody has ever been like, that guy's a Hall of Famer. Even when he was crushing it with the Pistons, I wasn't like, I bet he's a future Hall of Famer.
Right.
It's like, he's a really good player, and I'm glad we have him.
Yeah. Kind of.
So
that's all we had. So he seemed really, really good.
Yeah.
To me.
So nowhere in this article, like the article title says Andre Drummond says he's best rebound ever, has a chance at Hall of Fame. He never said, they don't quote him as saying it in the article, but he did say, I've done great in my career, Drummond said. I think I have a chance to be a Hall of Fame player due to what I've done in my career. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm in the top 20 for being in the Hall of Fame, so I have a great chance.
Top 20.
Yeah. So, according to Basketball Reference, Drummond's Hall of Fame probability is 0.0191%.
Oh, they gave him that.
That sounds about right.
Sounds a little high.
So, yeah. I mean, good rebounder, but
maybe honestly during his stretch from when he started with the Pistons to, I don't know how long his career was, but we'll say 7-8 years, he could legitimately have been the best rebounder in the NBA during most of those years. Yeah,
he was. He had.
But does that make you a Hall of Famer? I feel like the bar should be higher than just I was the best rebounder for 7 years.
Right. So his resume is,
and it wasn't even that far ahead of the other guys, right? So like you were the best rebounder, but like other guys weren't that far off,
right?
Either,
So he was a 4-time rebounding champion, 2-time All-Star.
He didn't win a ring with the Lakers. I thought he won a ring with the Lakers.
All-Pro, probably.
In this article, it says he has not won a ring.
I mean, it makes sense. I think they lost that year.
So, all right. Well, let's get into week 1 recaps of our Michigan teams. We will start with, let's go with Western Michigan, St. Francis. I'll spit some stats real quick.
And
Salopek
why don't
got
you
the
spit
start.
those stats?
Yeah.
St. Fran
Salopek got the
boy.
start. 18 for 26, 170 yards and a touchdown with an interception. Jalen Buckley, 30 carries, 194 yards. Abdus Salam, 20 carries, 73 yards. Cole Doyle, 14 for 24 for St. Francis with 230 yards and a touchdown.
Doyle rules.
Yeah. So I ended up getting ESPN Plus just so I could start watching some of these games. So I did get to catch Western St. Francis, and St. Francis kept it close. I mean, it's kind of like, and we'll get into it with CMU. They kind of just warmed down. It'll be interesting to see how they do this week, because I don't know. I guess I was too high up on St. Francis.
Well, I mean, they had a bunch of returning starters. It wasn't crazy. They had a bunch
No.
of returning starters. Western Michigan had a bunch of turnover. They took Akron, was it right? Akron to the limit last year. I mean, it's not like that was a good non-conventional pick, I thought. But it was dumb because you lost.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't I mean, it was fun to watch because it was week 1, but if you showed me that game like in week 6, I probably would have been like,
No shot of watching that in week 6.
Western versus St. Francis. It's the
Dude, I
deal
watched
week.
Jackson State and South Carolina State week 0 because I'm like just wanting to see that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, that's Deion's old school too. But I'm just like, I just wanted to watch football. There's no shot I'd watch that game in week 6.
Right.
No shot I watched that game week 1.
Week 0 though, maybe.
Nope.
No? Oh, dude. All right. I mean, that's cool. You're not alone.
I'm too busy watching poop documentaries.
Yeah, no kidding.
I got
How
too many
much
other
poo
things in
is
my
next
hands.
to her today? I don't know.
What kind of soup did she eat?
Which probably more interesting anyway. So
Nothing. The Jackson State, South Carolina. That was a good game.
Was it? Being good?
It was. It was a good game. And the storyline was there. Jackson was there without Deion and all that stuff. So I mean, it was interesting for a week 0 game without any other real games going on.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Been begging for football since February.
Yeah.
Challenge me, bro.
I can't challenge you. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong,
Straight.
but I mean, if you were sitting in the living room watching that game and Dean was like, "Hey, Bill, come in here real quick. I want you to see what this lady's doing." And she's eating soup next to a house full of human feces. I think I'm gonna stick around with Dean.
I think that says something about you guys. I get it.
But so I don't know, Dean. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that at all. I know it's probably not really.
On Western St. Francis. Yeah. I mean, I felt like Western probably I don't know, they probably could have ran the ball a little bit more. I mean, they got 194 yards out of Buckley, but they probably should have just kept running the ball. That's all I'm saying. They probably could have killed. They could have killed St. Francis on time of possession at least, and just they wouldn't have scored 17 points. It would have looked better on them. But given like Eddie said, they were returning starters, and I mean they are a good D2 school, essentially. But they still should have won by more. I felt.
Well, yeah, and then it was they were in the third quarter and it was 21-17.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, like this is where when St. Francis scored in the third, I was like, oh man, look out for upset. And then it just kind of went away just like that. So, but congrats to the Broncos on a win.
Win's a win.
Yeah. So
week 1.
Next up, Eastern Howard. Eastern 33-23. Austin Smith had 175 yards with a touchdown. Samson Evans 16 carries, 52 yards. Quentin Williams for Howard was 16 of 33 with 194 with 2 touchdowns. Another ESPN Plus game that I checked out. It was I think Eastern will be good, but 14 of those points came from kick returns. So you take that away, it's a lot closer. Now, would they probably scored on those possessions? I thought they kind of let their foot off the gas.
Sure.
I don't know. They kind of look
3
different.
touchdown lead-ish.
They just look different going in. I don't know. And I don't know what it was. Quentin Williams, Howard's quarterback, didn't look bad. I was actually kind of impressed by him.
Made plays.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was certainly a closer game than what we expected, especially with Evans only going 52 yards when he's supposed to be, the top guy. Austin Smith was pretty rough throwing the ball. I mean, he ended up with a pick, a TD on 43.5 QBR against, that team.
Howard.
Yeah. And you can't blame the beef up front, Dooley and the boys, because they gave up how many sacks?
I don't think they gave up any. Yeah. 0.
So now, granted, Austin Smith's a runner more than a passer, but sorry. Why? Austin Smith's more of a runner passer, but he didn't run that well either, honestly. His QBR obviously kind of highlights the performance he had, and it was kind of a letdown. I mean, I thought.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't have anything other than that on it.
Right.
Yeah. They just got to bounce back. They'll be better. Yeah. They have to be.
Well, and like I said, I when they went up, I think 23-0. I really think they just kind of, you know how teams can get sometimes,
No doubt.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I doubt that's going to happen this week with, them playing Minnesota.
Yeah.
So,
right.
We'll
I think
see.
they turn it around.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree. So next up, we're just going to go with Michigan ECU at Michigan. Michigan 130-3. Pretty, Eddie. I don't know if you guys watched the game or not. It was. You did. Pretty.
I mean, as much as I could.
Right. Pretty standard Michigan. I did not expect them to not really move the ball at the beginning of the game. You could tell they kind of started to settle in. JJ looked great all day long. So that's a great sign. I mean, I know the score doesn't look it, but it was a pretty dominating performance, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I thought it was kind of funny that ECU ran the clock or tried to get it down the field so they kicked that field goal at the end of the game. But right. I think that's 313 games now that they haven't been shut out. ECU.
Got to keep that streak alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a streak. Yeah. That's a cool streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got something to hang your head on there.
How many of those are wins, though?
Right, exactly.
They weren't shut out, baby.
They weren't shut out.
JJ was 26 for 30 with 280 and 3 touchdowns. So yeah, no. as a Michigan fan, I thought they played a good game. I know the score may not look like it, but it was pretty. They have things to work on offense, but I think that's a lot of week one stuff. Still, I mean, the defense looked great. I expect probably to see more of the same this week against UNLV, but we'll get into that, here in a little bit. So I don't know if you have any, if you have any thoughts on it.
Dean, you got anything on there?
Yeah, no, I mean, just to highlight what you said, I mean, I thought they played well. It was a pretty typical Michigan win where they just kind of slowly dominated the game. I did think that it was going to be a much higher score. I thought their offense was going to be a lot more dynamic, given they were, especially in some certain moments. But I did want to point out that they didn't have any sacks yesterday or during the game. The defense played well, but they didn't have any. But did ECU really pass a ton? I mean,
not a lot.
right.
And
I mean, that's kind of the strategy against a better team, I feel.
They pass combined between the two quarterbacks. They went 17 for 29 with 132 yards passing. So
how many carries?
28 in total.
Yeah.
So it was 50-50.
So it was about 50-50, yeah. So yeah, I saw that, but I thought that's really the only thing that I could see is that they get more pressure during the season. I mean, they'll be fine. I don't even know if that was really that big of a deal.
Right.
I'm sure they got pressure, obviously they did.
Right.
Just didn't get the sacks, but I thought they would have a couple sacks, but
you would have thought so. Yeah, bless you.
Thanks, man. My allergies are going like crazy right now.
Keep it in.
No, I mean, and let me piggyback off of what Dean said. That piggybacked off of what you said. They look good. I mean, if the offense starters played the fourth quarter, they would have covered, which means they did what they were expected to do. So let's, I mean, people are like, 33, whatever. It's like, yeah, if the offensive starters played the fourth quarter, they covered. They did exactly what was expected of them. I thought for me, what highlighted was JJ honestly looked elite to me.
Yeah.
95.4 QBR, 3 TDs, almost 300 yards passing, as you pointed out. I mean, not rarely a mistake. Most people would say I think as he goes, the team goes. Obviously, the running part of that team is the linchpin, but if he is playing at that kind of level, that's what determines whether they have a real shot at winning the national championship or not. Definitely. If he's playing at that kind of level, I mean, I don't know what stops them other than they can't get pressure on the quarterback. Right, Dean?
Exactly.
But that's really all I had. I was impressed by what they had going on. I mean, offensively, they look good. I really, you got to be more curious about what JJ's got going on. I mean, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, they're going to do what they do. They're as good a running backs as you're going to get in college football. And so, I wasn't worried about their stats. I was really curious to see what JJ could do when you have an opportunity against a team that's obviously lesser, more opportunities to throw the ball because you're not really worried about losing the game. It's more about seeing what's available to you. And he made good decisions with the football every time. I think he only had 4 incomplete passes out of 30.
Yeah, 26 for 30, 280.
Yeah,
it's a good day.
Yeah, that's a great day. And I mean, they should be taking care of those guys like that. So, good for them. I mean, if they played the starters, that's a cover. Like I said, people say things, and I'll get into that a little later. But people say things, and it is what it is. But they did what they were supposed to do.
Right. I agree. And it's not. I never thought that they looked bad. You know what I mean? There was never a time that I was like, oh man, we're in trouble.
Right.
Well, you know how
You
people
know.
are. They're like, hey, it's ECU. We should score every drive. We should score a touchdown every single drive. How could they possibly stop us? It's like, that's a Division I football team also. Okay. Those
Right.
guys got pride. They're athletic. They can get a stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And,
mean,
and it's not like
they can get a stop.
they're a team that was
Yeah.
like 1-11 last year either.
Exactly.
Were
Right,
they
yeah.
great? No. But you know what I mean? It's not like they were playing Portland State.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you know what other garbage team was 1-11 last year? Colorado.
Right.
Mm.
Oh,
All garbage, all around.
They were.
did you see that stat? It was like 88 transfers or scholarship players on that. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, pretty nuts. That was nuts. The crazy stat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Insane.
Oof.
It's a big one.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a big one.
Yeah, ton.
Yeah. So, and then I wanted to talk about this game last was MSU Central Michigan. MSU 131-7. Noah Kim got the start as we thought he would. 18-31, 279 with 2 touchdowns. Nathan Carter, 18 carries, 113 yards with a touchdown. And yeah, no, I mean, I can give you Bert Emanuel's 11 for 17, 87 yards and a touchdown. Almost, I mean, Dean, I think you were probably the most spot on out of the three of us. I mean,
in what sense?
with how you thought the game would go.
I thought I was pretty close too.
Run heavy.
Yeah, run heavy. Yeah.
The score was pretty close.
Eddie was calling it. He was thinking it was going to be an air raid. It's weird.
Who said that?
Just seeing if you're paying attention. That's
You know, paying attention. Hey, I thought I was super. In fact, I think score plus what I was saying was about as close as it gets.
Yeah.
No, I said 24-10. Grant. That was pretty
On
close.
which one?
Pretty close.
Because the first thing I heard was 21-10.
Oh, jeez.
And then you said 21-10 or
Oh.
24-10. So we can pick 2-3 scores per game.
I think on the Gridiron, the Great Lakes Gridiron podcast, I said 24-10.
Which I think I was still closer overall.
I don't care.
I'm just saying. I'm defending myself because I felt like I about nailed it, how the game was going to go.
Yeah.
You said it was going to be an air raid, 5 wide.
Yeah.
Weirdest
Okay.
thing I'd ever
What
heard in my
episode
life.
is that on? Is this an underground?
Check it out. Check it
Sports
out on
Talk
the last
podcast episode.
Behind the scenes episode.
Yeah.
I recorded you and you didn't know it.
This is the stuff he says outside of the podcast.
I felt like it was pretty close because these are the two teams I pay attention to probably the most.
Right.
And I think I had said, I thought 28-10, which puts me 6 points off total from the total score. And I think I had said in the last one, I thought it was going to be really close until we got late third. Michigan State probably scored a touchdown, early fourth. And I think that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? When you know the squads, you know the squads. I mean, to me, the game went as it did. It went as expected. CMU played mostly as I expected. They were going to have trouble scoring just based on what they have on offense versus just the overall talent Michigan State has on defense. Bert Emanuel was pretty disappointing. For as much praise as he got from the broadcast guys, which I was really super because I'm watching. You know, we were texting each other too, Bill, during that game. And I was surprised at the praise they gave him. I mean, he had a touchdown, a pick. You said 87 yards. He had a 24.6 QBR. I mean, it was pretty rough to watch him try and throw the ball.
Just to throw the ball like his mechanic.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly.
I don't know. Dean, was I the one that was saying like he looked like Jared Goff in his first year in Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you're
that's
saying.
what it looked like. And it never got. But I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why he didn't put in Bauer earlier. I don't know if he thought things were going according to plan.
Well, I mean, did Bauer look any better? I didn't think so. Bauer looked rough to me.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that didn't look good. I mean, there's
But
a
man,
reason,
it was.
If Burt hits that, doesn't slip on that goal line, do you think the
That's true.
momentum doesn't shift as much
I mean, it's very
towards
possible.
Michigan State? I mean, because then they got that 7-0 lead right off the bat after stuffing them on fourth down. Like,
right at the end of the
talking about
first
being
half,
jacked.
I think they had 7 plays in the red zone right there. I mean, and they didn't score.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough, man.
And then they could have.
If you're CMU
That's
at
the
MSU, they could have.
He was wide open.
Yeah, if he doesn't slip, does the momentum not shift as much? Or
we saw some stuff. I mean, Malik Carr dropped that bomb.
Oh, dude, on a dime from Noah Kim.
I mean, there was some pretty big hiccups on MSU's side.
Yeah,
offensively, to say the least. I thought they looked as expected too, though. Close game. Nathan Carter looked faster, a little better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
On that side, him and Berger could be a pretty nice combo.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see as this goes. Noah Kim, I mean, he obviously struggled early on, and he picked it up once he got booed. But he wasn't being done any favors early on in the game either.
No.
Good amount of drops. He finished pretty pedestrian, 60.6 QBR. I mean, I guess according to PFF, he had the 17th best QBR in the country, but I don't know, whatever. It was against CMU too. I mean, so take that for what it's worth. And really the disappointing part to me, and that's something, Bill, you and I had texted each other, was the coaching. The first half, Michigan State just looked sloppy and underprepared to play. Yeah. And I was disappointed with CMU's coaching in the second half because Michigan State's coaching, they made the adjustments at halftime because it was pretty obvious too. CMU didn't do anything different, which was the problem, right? They kept trying to run the same plays that kind of with the motions and things that were kind of throwing those linebackers and secondary guys off guard. But they kept running the exact same play, and they were obviously keyed on that now. Yeah. And, that created, I mean, CMU just started getting smoked offensively.
Well, and you gotta think that they went into halftime and they were like, listen, this is all these guys can run. Let's, you know what I mean? I don't know if McElwain can make any changes.
That was what I was going to say.
Right.
I wonder if Burt Emanuel's that limited to where they couldn't have added another wrinkle. I mean, if you watch it, I was watching it myself. I'm like, well, it's almost obvious what they're about to run here.
Right.
They're running same motion, same side, same formation. That the things that were worked a little bit in the first half. I mean, they'd only scored 7 points, so it's like you still got to change it up. Right. You can't just hope that you keep it 7-10. You gotta do some other things. And Jim McElwain's too good of a coach, which makes me think that maybe Burt Emanuel's just not the dude. But Jace Bauer didn't look like the dude either. And
it's just working with
on the other side for Michigan State, Caton Hauser didn't look like the dude also.
No.
I mean, he only threw 1 pass. But in general, he just didn't look good. He didn't look comfortable. Noah Kim, he didn't have a sweet tat. Do. Yeah, exactly. He's not Asian with the sweet tat.
Yeah, he needs to have the sweet tat and be Asian. Oh, wait, he's Asian?
I think so.
He's probably not.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
But no, the one thing I wanted to bring up, just real quick, I've never seen this before, and you guys probably would say the same thing, is that dude for Michigan State that had to get carted off the field
Yeah.
and then played in the game later. I've never seen that.
No.
Where like a dude's like laid out on their back
and he's
on
just
the
like,
cart. Yeah, the thumbs
Yeah.
up even.
yeah.
And then plays like 2 quarters later.
Yeah.
Never once in my life have I seen that. Like some guys will go off with a leg, right? Or whatever.
Right.
Like sitting up and everybody knows they're fine. But this guy's got the thumbs up laying straight down on the cart.
Must have
But
crapped
then he comes
himself.
back. I was like, that's the same guy? What is happening? Like, what? Isn't he almost dead? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
he
was
just
insane.
He just shit himself. That's all.
Well, dude, he
He's
went
all the way
down.
up my back.
I mean, he went
can't believe
down. Like,
Right. Yeah.
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 he got. Well, he at least
Yeah.
looked like he got knocked out on the field.
Yeah. That was
Who
nuts.
knows?
And then he's like, "I'm good."
Just like
That's
knocked
crazy.
out standing too. He just
Yeah.
kinda,
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of scary, really.
I know, dude. I
But
was
then-
like, dude, but then he was playing in the third or second, even. I don't even.
It's hilarious.
So
He's like, you know what? I'm actually good.
He's like, you know what? I think I'm ready to go back in. That was
funny.
nuts.
That is wild.
Oh man. So real quickly, let's go into week 2 games. Western Michigan, Syracuse. I believe Syracuse is 20 minus 23. You think Western
Wait, we're not
keeps
supposed
it?
to talk about spread on this show?
Well, no, but we got to do a kind of a preview.
Okay, all right. Gotcha. Just don't say who you pick on the spread.
Right.
Just make it blatantly obvious who you think is who's probably.
I could
gonna
tell
win.
you, I feel like they would score 7 touchdowns to the other team's 0. I'm not going to say who I'd pick on the spread.
I know who you're picking.
Yeah, do you just your guys' thoughts on if you think Western can keep it to within 23?
So you're asking us to pick the spread? Can
Well,
they
okay.
within 23 or no?
This is gonna determine my picks later.
No, I just do you think they're gonna put up a game? I guess the better. I mean, based on what I saw last week, no. I really do like. Okay, I am a Central fan, but I really do not like having to hate on them, especially when they're not playing MAC teams. You know what I mean?
hear
And
you.
it's not. I hope they keep proving me wrong in some ways. I just don't see after watching the game last week how they keep it close.
I got to be
And
honest.
watching Syracuse too.
Right.
Sure, but it was FCS Colgate.
I mean, but they showed that Colgate doesn't belong. You know, you gotta go
Colgate,
Crest,
you
baby.
don't belong
You gotta go
here.
Crest, baby.
You don't belong here, Colgate. Go back to dental school.
Them's the sheets over there.
Honestly, what I saw with Western, I do feel like they have the potential to make it a game because they were very strong running the ball. And if they can keep it to a ball control, time management game, I don't see why not. That they could keep it close. Are you asking us to make a pick who we think are going to win?
Yeah, for pick 'em, just a pick 'em.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a win, I do think Syracuse wins. They're at home. I mean, Western wasn't impressive, but I do think that I feel like Western could make it a game. And
Okay.
Lance Taylor being a running backs coach, having run the ball a lot in the last game, I mean, again, if you're the worst team and you can control the time, I mean, they got a shot.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Dean, you think Western? Who do you think wins?
I think Syracuse wins, and after I mean, I know, like you said, they played an FCS school and yeah, but I mean, they still won 65-0. I mean, 65 is a big score for anybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but I feel like Western's going to have to be more one-dimensional. If Syracuse can make what's his name, Salopek, throw the ball, I don't think they.
That's bad news.
I don't think they have much of a shot to keep it within.
That's not good.
Yeah, to make it a good game. I think Syracuse probably runs away with it. Like you said, at home, they're riding high on a dominant victory.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. So, Eastern Michigan at Minnesota this weekend. The line is, Eddie, you have it in front of you.
-20.
-20.
That's what you sent. It could have changed, but
right.
as of right now, it's -20.
I think it's going to be a game. I actually think I picked Eastern to beat Minnesota in an upset. I'm not taking that off the table, especially with the
There you
way
go. Stand
Minnesota played
strong.
Nebraska. I mean, you, Eddie, I don't know if it was you that texted me that asked me if I watched the end of that game, which was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Another
I think we
another
were texting each other on
heartbreaker
that.
for Nebraska. Just
Yeah.
oh man. I think it's going to be a game. I truly think it's going to be a game. I don't think I'm gonna have to believe that Coach Creighton's gonna tell the boys, "Hey, you ain't letting your foot off against Minnesota. You can't be comfortable." And if they think, I mean, all you have to do is look at the tape from last week with Minnesota and Nebraska and be like, "Hey, you just can't. You can't just relax. It's gonna have to be go all four." So,
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than the spread would suggest. I mean, it either because Nebraska is considered to be possibly one of the weaker teams in the Big Ten, right? And for Minnesota to have such a barn burner against them, it's still week one, and teams are still trying to figure themselves out and put kids in the right place. But I don't know. I think Eastern's got a pretty solid squad if they just keep their heads right and just control the ball. I think they have a shot, a real shot against Minnesota.
I think I do love our guys on the Eagles. I think I do defer from you guys on this one for sure. To me, this game is kind of like the CMU MSU game. I just think there's too much talent on one side of the field than the other side. I think Austin Smith would need to take a big step up in 1 week when Minnesota just played a better version of him and Jeff Sims at Nebraska.
Right.
And they won. And so for me, I love our Eagles and what I just I think the spread's pretty close to what I think the game's going to be like. I think just overall talent wise, what I saw last week out of the two teams. Now Minnesota was unimpressive for sure. Minnesota was very unimpressive, but they played a better version of what Eastern's got going.
Right.
In my opinion. So I mean I got Minnesota winning, and
I also
I don't think
didn't
it'll be
actually
super tight.
I didn't actually say my pick, but I picked Minnesota. I just think it'll be close. Yeah, I like Eastern, but
Bill's got Eastern going on that.
I don't see it. Like
as far as what I think will happen, yes, I think Eastern has a chance. But betting wise, if you went straight up pick them and you're betting, you have to go Minnesota.
You got to.
You gotta. You know what I mean? I want Eastern to win. Don't get me wrong.
No doubt. No doubt.
I love Dooley. I love the boys. I hate PJ Fleck.
Can't stand him.
Can't stand him.
I row the boat.
Yep. He
This
rows
is
the
about to
boat
be
everywhere.
the BE Sports Talk podcast. Dean's gonna start the Dean and PJ Row the Boat podcast.
Dude, if I could get on a podcast with PJ Fleck, that'd be sick.
Well, I mean, that's the way you go. Sure.
Yeah.
You would legitimately be. You'll be like, I'll do it in a boat.
Yeah, I'll row the boat. I will be rowing.
You're just
You row it.
pouring
You talk,
sweat.
PJ. I'll row the boat.
Can we get Jim Tressel there too?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Oh God.
I'm getting in. I'm sorry.
I'll watch that podcast for you, but
Yeah.
And if Urban's there, whoo.
oh, God.
Oh, buddy. We're gonna be partying.
Yeah. Yes.
Be hitting the clubs.
Faking heart attacks.
So we could hit the club.
All right. So CMU New Hampshire. I got CMU winning home opener. That's really all I got on that. I don't think New Hampshire's very good. They'll make adjustments from prior to week 1. I think Britt Emanuel still gets to start. I think they'll be able to run more of that offense against New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I got CMU winning.
Yeah. Same. I also have CMU winning. I will say New Hampshire, I think their quarterback threw 5 touchdowns last week. But their defense gave up 2 rushing touchdowns, which I think kind of plays into CMU's hands because obviously they're looking to run the ball. I don't think the passing's a big option for them. I mean, they can do it, but so I think that plays into their hands. I think CMU wins as well.
Yeah, definitely. CMU hung with MSU for 2.5 quarters, man, and they look like a team that had a potential to upset a Big Ten school. New Hampshire, like you said, their QB threw 5 TDs against Stonehill, but this ain't Stonehill, homie. This is CMU. The Chips are ready to whip some ass and get back on the winning streak. I don't see an issue with that. Bert Emanuel's going to have a great day running the ball. He's going to have a better day throwing the ball than he just did. And
For sure.
Fire up Chips, baby.
Fire
It's
up.
a victory. No question.
All right.
Clean sweep.
MSU Richmond this
That's a good one.
weekend. No line. I
You're gonna be
think it's because
surprised.
they're playing FCS team. I think that's what it is. I've been noticing that when they play an FCS team, there's no line.
I mean,
So-
come on. Richmond
Gonna be-
lost 17-10 to Morgan State last week. If MSU loses, we burn the school down.
If they win, we burn the school down.
This is a good week. Yeah, it's a good week for Kim to build chemistry with the receivers a little bit more, before Washington comes into town next week. Obviously, it's MSU. No line needed. They should just really be working on stuff. Even if it's a 3-touchdown game, which is closer than what people would want to expect. I hope it's just due to the fact that they're working on things. Let's try some stuff out. See what's going good. I mean, we got some lucky tosses. We can't expect those receivers to make crazy catches every week.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he's throwing them up there and he put them in good spots. So I mean, I'll give Noah Kim credit for that. So this is just
They
a
were
good
nice
week to
looking
test some
balls
stuff
too.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Richmond only got 39 rushing yards on 21 attempts last week, and I don't see that increasing this week. so Michigan State should, in theory, run away with it, but I could see, like what Eddie said, if it is going to be like a 3-4 touchdown game, I hope they're working on things or putting in younger guys. You know what I mean? Just to get them experience or something.
I mean,
if it's at that
let
point.
Caden Hauser get in there in the 4th because that kid looked rough.
Yeah, he needs reps.
He looked rough. I think Caden Hauser. It's how I thought about Noah Kim last year. I didn't think Noah Kim would ever play for Michigan State like as a starter because Peyton Thorne would have been here this year. And I thought Caden Hauser was the guy coming in after. Sam Levitt is kind of the same situation where he's like the redshirt freshman, where it's like if Caden Hauser doesn't look better than that ever, there's no shot he plays.
Right.
And Sam Levitt's a 4-star. They're both 4-star kids, right? So they're supposed to be pretty good.
Right.
Mhm.
But it
Speed
is
of
what it
game.
is. Some kids don't happen. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So hopefully he does something. I mean, against Richmond, who lost to Morgan State last week. Shit, I mean, dear Lord, man, I don't know. I don't want to crap on those guys, but I mean, come on.
The brick wall of Morgan State. Don't forget.
They held that high potent Richmond offense to 10 points last week. Morgan State, they're legit this year.
They are going to be legit. National champions right there.
Pride
Who
cometh
knows?
before the fall, fellas. Richmond in
doubt.
dominating
Oh,
fashion.
jeez.
I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't
It's
say
gonna
it's
be a
exactly the
blowout
same
of epic
situation.
proportions. Blowout. I don't even think it'll ever be close.
It shouldn't be.
I hope not. But
Right. I hope
things
not.
happen.
For the sake of the rivalry, while it would be hilarious if that happened.
Of course.
I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Of
Okay.
course.
Here's
Yes.
a question. Here's a question. In your mind, if Richmond were to beat MSU, which is not going to happen, but
I said
say
we
it
burn
does,
the school down. Where's my notes?
right? Is that where's my notes? Is that
I'm
worse?
serious. We burn it down.
Is that worse than Michigan Appalachian State?
Yes.
Until somebody
would say
burns
yes.
down the school,
I
and
mean,
then they have
team to
this on
team.
camera.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
No
got to be
kidding.
this guy. He said I've burned the school
Team
down.
to team
He just said it
comparison.
3 times.
You know that Appalachian State team that beat Michigan beats this Richmond team,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
would feel pretty confident.
That
Yeah.
Appalachian
Almost in a
team is
blowout.
good.
In a
Oh,
blowout.
all right, take it easy, okay? You're a slappy. Calm down. I don't know if it's almost a blowout, but they win for sure.
Okay. All right. Fair. I'm just saying they're an FBS school now.
Keep it in your pants, bro. All right. I'm just saying. You're like, Appalachian State would have been national champs in FBS if they had been in there.
They went deep in their playoff, though, didn't they? That year? I mean, they had.
Yeah, they didn't even win the national championship of the year. That's the kind of funny part about it. But they had won like 2 in a row leading up to that. They were a confident squad against an overconfident Michigan team, and
for sure.
9 out of 10 times Michigan wins that game.
Yeah,
they
But
just
they
weren't
didn't.
they weren't ready for a team that was as ready as Appalachian State. It happens.
Well, watch out for them spiders.
Hey man, CMU.
I
did
hope
the
they're not
same
ready.
thing to MSU in 2009. CMU had a good team going into that season. MSU wasn't ready.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think it would be worse. It's not
It would be.
happening.
No,
A lot of
But it
things
would be
have
worse.
to go critically wrong.
it'd have to go so bad.
I don't know what would have to. I don't even know if the third string quarterback came in, it wouldn't be a blowout. I'm not doing. Man,
They definitely win. The defense at minimum is gonna. There's just, yeah. What are we talking about?
I know. What you got a score prediction since there's no line?
Score prediction for MSU Richmond? No. I mean, at least I would assume 3 to 4 touchdowns.
I was gonna say
depending
like,
on what they're doing
I was
offensively.
gonna say
I mean,
49-0.
hey man, not nothing. No,
They had 10 yards.
it's so hard to
rushing.
hold people to 0. Yeah, I understand. I don't want to put that in there like that should happen. It's just
No,
the
I'm
guy
not.
can
no,
hit a
no,
field
no,
goal.
I'm not
man.
doing that.
You know, I don't know. Michigan
Yes.
State, they just historically, I just have not seen them blow many people out by more than 3 or 4 touchdowns, even in good years. So it's hard for me to say, hey, I see a 5-6 touchdown win. I mean, they should. The talent's been
Right.
there over the years, but it's so rare that I'm like, I just I'm just accustomed to we win by 3-4 touchdowns. People are like, "Oh, see, State sucks," and then they end up winning 10 games. I mean,
right. I'll say 41-0.
41 zip.
Yeah. 35-7.
I'll go 45-7.
Touchdown, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's
I would
fair
say
for
at the most. I would say at the most a field goal.
Rich what?
Nah, dude, not at the most. I mean,
what? How many yards did they have against Morgan State?
These guys are, they're not like not trying. I mean,
Yeah,
they can get a touchdown. Anybody can get a lucky
State
touchdown.
Too.
It was
they got 10 points on Morgan State. They
their
probably thought they were
top
going to
running
win,
back
and
had
they got
39
freaking
yards.
smacked because they thought they were going to walk over Morgan State.
All right,
Richmond's
I'll give
one
you
of the
7
best in their conference.
I would say, okay, I'm not going to say 7. I still think it's going to be 41-0, but I could see the touchdown coming in like late fourth quarter.
Yeah,
so.
That's fair.
Touchdown come anytime. You can get lucky anytime in the game. Garbage time.
That's fair.
I don't see a touchdown. I mean, whatever.
Okay. And UNLV at Michigan. Michigan is at -36. To me, I think it'll be more of the same this week. I think it might actually be tougher than ECU.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a little bit tougher of a game. I'm not saying that, they're going to have to be ready to go, but I don't know if they cover, to be completely honest with you.
What's Michigan's line?
-36. It's another big number. But yeah, I got Michigan winning.
Yes.
Yeah. Run. Yeah. UNLV is going to have to run the hell out of the ball if they want any sort of shot. They're going to have to control the ball. I mean, that's with any team, right? I mean, time of possession is everything. And they're just going to have to, they're going to have to treat this like it's their national championship, right? They're going to have to pull out all the stops and do whatever they can to get the win. But I think Michigan's too much, but I don't think they cover.
That's fair. You were right last week too.
We'll see. UNLV put it on Bryant last week by 30. Unfortunately, 9 of those points were by field goal. That ain't going to cut it. I don't know how they stand up to Michigan's offense or defense. Easy win in Ann Arbor, especially considering they can trust this week's Guardians of Victory. And Jay Harbaugh and Mike Hart, as they will lead this week's Wee-fence. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yes, I do. Hey, as long as he wins games, you know what? That guy's a cornball, but I love him. He's my cornball.
If we're done with that, unfortunately, that wasn't the most cringeworthy thing of the week. I'm not even talking about Michigan lining up on offense, doing their number 4 and free Harbaugh stuff.
Hey, free Harbaugh.
From himself, from his own school. Free me from us. What, you want him to go to the NFL?
Yeah, get out of here.
That's the only way he's.
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay. I mean, I get it. You miss him, but
hey, dude, if I was a Michigan fan, I would feel less of it than everybody else in the country who thought it was pretty corny and fairly cringy. That aside, whatever. They're one of the best teams in the country. You can do whatever you want if you're that good, right? So whatever.
Give kids burgers and stuff.
I want to submit something that could be, I think, pretty interesting for us moving forward. And I'm calling this the worst take of the week. So we're used to wild takes on social media, right? I mean,
Yep.
you see them every week, especially week 1. They provided a whole bunch of doozies. I wanted to highlight one that I saw that I thought was the absolute worst take of the week. And you got to hear me out on this. I saw a guy on social media, somebody I know. Okay. This is somebody I know. So it's verified, not just some wacky dude who just posts stuff to get reactions. Get absolutely roasted. Okay. And this is how you know it's bad, because fans of both teams straight up torched this guy for suggesting that since he says MSU looked good, okay, which I don't know how they look good. I mean, maybe average at best. And he thought Michigan looked not that good in their win against ECU, that Michigan State was going to really give them a game when they played each other, or potentially win, based on what they saw in week 1. Now, I don't think suggesting that MSU could pull off an upset in a rivalry is that crazy, because crazy things happen, even when it's not a rivalry, a la Clemson losing to Duke 28-7, right? Like, it's not crazy. Those things can happen. But to suggest that based off of what we saw in week 1 versus a MAC and an American Conference team school, okay, is honestly just straight up some of the dumbest S I've ever heard from what this person assumingly considers themselves a football fan. It's even worse because this person is a Michigan fan. Like, this wasn't like a Michigan State slappy. This was a Michigan fan who thought Michigan State looks so good against CMU, and Michigan looks so bad against ECU, that now Michigan State, hey, they must be a top 5 school if they're going to beat Michigan. Michigan's, for a U of N to suggest that based on what they saw is enough to think Michigan State's could probably beat Michigan is stupid.
Yeah.
Michigan didn't play their starters in the 4th quarter.
Right.
JJ looked legitimately elite, as I said earlier. They held a team to 3 points. An FBS team. It's not like they played FCS. They played an FBS team who was trying as hard as they could. Okay. And they could only score 3 points.
Right.
At the end.
Conversely, comparing that to a team that was Michigan State, where we were losing to a MAC school with a minute left in the first half. Like, are you really that stupid? Are you that dumb? Week 1, MAC American Conference schools.
That's crazy. And it was a Michigan fan?
It was a Michigan fan. I'm like, that's what, if it was a Michigan State person, I'd be like, okay, you see takes like that all the time, right?
He's
like,
a homer,
hey,
right?
Yeah. You're a homer. You do whatever. But this is a Michigan fan that I know, and they said this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, where?
That's
I don't
crazy.
know where. Like, that is so dumb. That
Michigan
is so dumb.
played
like, how
well.
They played really well.
Yeah.
And hey, no, and you know what? And as a Michigan fan, yes, Michigan State any year, either team, it doesn't matter who it is,
of course,
is going to have a chance to win. It doesn't matter how good or bad the teams are usually. You know what I mean? It's usually
the most
a pretty
important
close
game to that team. Yeah.
And you know what?
Well, Michigan State.
Right. Well, the thing is, to sit there as a Michigan fan and to say that Michigan State is not an important rivalry game is stupid. It's a dumb take.
Yeah,
that'd be my worst.
That's usually one of the wackest takes of the year, that Michigan doesn't care about that game. It's the second most important game to Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And so it'd be like, yeah. No, yeah. But going back to that take, Michigan State if Noah Kim doesn't throw up that ball, which great pass by the way,
Yeah.
and they don't score that touchdown, it's probably a little bit closer of a game. And I'm not sitting here saying Michigan's going to win in a rivalry game in East Lansing. We've talked about it in the season preview. You know, Michigan State will always have a chance, same as Michigan. If when Michigan's not number 2 in the nation, Michigan State is. You know what I mean? It's a rivalry game. You're going to have close games. But to suggest based off what you saw in week 1
Week 1.
to say, oh,
Yeah, to like make that be your determining factor
oh,
in one of the biggest games of the year when they both played a MAC school and an American Conference school that they were all favored to win by 2 touchdowns plus as your linchpin of now that's going to be a good game. Like, no, that has nothing to do,
right.
almost nothing to do with how that's going to go. It was just, that's why I said this could be a something for us to do moving forward, because there's so many whack takes on social media that it's easy to find one.
Oh, super
And then
easy.
when something lines up like that, where it's like, it's also a Michigan fan, like somebody is a Michigan, it's not just somebody pretending to be a Michigan fan, it's somebody who is. And
Mhm.
you're like, why would you think that?
Right.
Like, that's just dumb. It's like legitimately dumb. Is this your first season? First time college football?
First time.
Whatever.
Yeah,
But moving
no,
forward, I mean, we could highlight that or not, but I just saw it and I'm like, week 1 is prime for terrible takes from casual football fans. And that's what I saw.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'd be like saying,
People are
oh
crazy.
man, Oregon's gonna win the national championship because they beat Portland State 81-7.
Oh yeah, dude, they're ready.
Oh, that's a prolific, you know
They're
what
ready.
I mean? And they will be good, but geez. All right. So getting to this week's season opener with the Lions and the Chiefs. Finally, it's here. Can't wait. Some news real quick. The only thing I really had is Bugs isn't playing this week after that whole crazy social media thing. You guys have any thoughts on that at all?
You want me to go? Well, it was because he said it was because of like his wife was having a baby or something like that, right? Wasn't that the big thing? He just wasn't spending time with the team, and that's what he's saying is why he's benched or whatever. I think that plays a role in that, but I also think that's just kind of where he is on the depth chart now. He's good, don't get me wrong, but I think guys like even like Broderick Martin kind of passed him up. They have 6 DNs that are all pretty versatile guys. You know, I mean, you got guys like Kaminsky who's going to get a lot of playing time inside. I mean, he's just kind of that depth guy. And I don't know why he's surprised, especially if you're going to miss a good portion of the preseason as well. You know, I don't know. I feel like it's justified on the Lions end, but I mean, that's on me to an extent.
Yeah, dude. You didn't even bring up Levi Onwuzurike or Benito Jones. Both those guys played
Benito
pretty
Jones
well,
played
man.
great.
Yeah. Benito Jones played great. Onwuzurike, I thought he looked good.
Yeah.
So you can be a healthy scratch when you miss the Saturday practice before the Thursday game when they're, setting up the defensive sets and you're gone because your girlfriend, what I heard, it was a girlfriend breakup issue that he wasn't there for. And then he said it was an illness, or that was the official report that came out from the Lions, was that it was an illness. He missed Saturday. And then you're a big enough baby to where you eliminate all your Lions ties on social media. Like, how old is this guy? He had to have been younger than he looks, because I'm like,
I think he's like 26.
Yeah, dude, you're that big of a baby? Dude, you're a healthy scratch. There's other guys who are playing as well as you. This isn't last year's Lions
No.
where you got
Right.
signed and played 17 games, like right before the season started. This is
Right.
a new team. There's confidence there. There's a
Mhm.
reason you can be a healthy scratch, and we're not like, oh no,
Right.
like we're gonna lose the game. Like I'd love to see him play. I like the guy,
Yeah.
but this was out of. I'm like, you consider yourself a leader of the team, some kind of leader. I mean, then be because this isn't it. I still like Bugs. I want to see him play. If you're gonna do that because of stuff that you did, not stuff the team did, then bro, you can kick rocks too. Like
Right.
you're gonna put up a big they gave you a 2-year contract. They obviously like you.
Yeah.
They obviously believe in you. They think you're a part of this team moving forward. If you miss the install practice before the game against the best team in the NFL with guys who are playing as well as you and you're going to throw a fit, then you ain't what you thought you were.
Mm.
I mean, at minimum.
Right.
And you're not what we thought you were either. So, I mean, I'm not giving up on the guy. It was 1 week. You mess up. He's 26, right? You say he's 26.
It's somewhere in
26-year-old.
that
I think
range.
he's
Yeah.
right around there.
You know, that's young, but not that so
Right.
young to where you
it's
can
old enough. Yeah.
throw a tissy over this when it's you just think about it as an adult and you're like, okay, I could see how this would happen.
Right.
They didn't say they lost faith in you or whatever, and like everybody thought you were getting traded.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like, and it was just you got called a healthy scratch because you missed a very important practice.
Right.
When you're really, where like Dean said, in the part of the depth chart where you can be a healthy scratch and we can have somebody else available, activated from practice. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So whatever. That's. I mean, I said more than I should on that, but I was frustrated by the situation in general because I thought some big news was coming, and then it was just that he was being a baby.
Right. You mean like Chris Jones?
Yeah, that's big news.
That's big news.
I had
big
seen that
news.
rumor for a minute. It was like
Yeah.
him for Bugs and 2 firsts.
Oh, like trade to us?
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't see that. I thought you were just talking about the holdout.
No. That was a rumor, obviously, but
I mean, that'd be pretty juicy.
Yeah.
And we get Chris Jones.
Yeah, and we just gave him Bugs. And, well, I mean, 2 firsts, but
yeah, but you got to figure they get Chris Jones. That draft pick is probably going to be in the lower half anyway.
oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
I mean, that's what
they
the Rams
they probably
thought,
get
too.
it back somehow.
Yeah,
Brad
it'd probably
Holmes
be like
kinda
a
knew it.
first and a
No
second or
BDB.
something.
Yeah. So, with that said, going into Lions Chiefs, you know, we've talked about it before. Huge game. Can't wait for it. We'll just go with straight into it. What do you guys see happening? I know we kind of talked about it before when we went through game by game. I kind of want to see what you guys think now.
I think it'll be. I think it really only goes one of two ways. And I think I said this when we went over
Either
this.
win or lose, right?
I mean, you either win by points or you lose by points.
I'm not calling a tie. That's what I'm saying.
It isn't going to be a tie. But no, I think it either goes. I think either it's a really close game, good game, and it could go either way, or I think the Chiefs are just head and shoulders above. But I mean, but I did a little research, and when the Lions won their playoff game in '91, that first game they played, they lost 45-0, and then they went on. Then they ended up winning their next 7 games or something like that, right in a row. So I did say in the first time we went over this that if they lost a lot, I'd lose confidence, but that kind of helped restore a little bit of that. Even if they do, I hope they don't. I don't think they will either. Obviously, I think you guys have heard that Kels might not play as well, or Kelsey, whatever you want to call him. His name is Kels. I don't know. Yeah. He might not play, which is huge as well. But I don't know. I think I mean I want the Lions to win. I think they will. I think. But I don't know. We'll see.
No, and do you remember who they played in that first week by any chance?
Redskins. I wasn't alive, but it was the Redskins.
That's who they
91
lost to in the
91.
NFC championship.
It said on
Wow.
when I looked it up, it said the first game they played was to the Redskins 45-0.
I think that's who they lost to in the NFC championship.
That's
I think
definitely
that's
who
like
they lost to in the NFC
my
championship.
first memory was
They
them
certainly
losing.
lost to
Really?
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the
So
NFC
that's
championship
crazy
by
to
a
think about.
blowout. Also,
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just
So-
that much better.
Well, and I just wanted to know that because I wanted to see if it was someone that was good that year,
Mm.
you know. So it's
Right,
kind of,
yeah.
you know, it matches up. So
Maybe same scenario type of deal.
Mhm.
I
Well,
hope that's
that's
not our
interesting.
first week, but
Right. Yeah.
that would be
Right.
very disheartening if that was the
Right.
first
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Eddie, what do you got? What do you think?
it's tough, man. I love that Chris Jones probably isn't playing, especially when, our QB. I love Jared Goff, but, if he feels the defender's breath on his neck, he's probably throwing a below 30 QBR. I'm exaggerating, but it's not that crazy. I mean, they're also without their longtime elite starting offensive tackle, Orlando Brown, who left in the offseason. I think that's important to note. They got a good replacement for him, but I wouldn't say it's the same caliber, especially with how many good pass rushers we have. I think that's going to make a difference. Obviously, Travis Kelce being out potentially could make a big difference. I don't think he actually will be out. I feel like it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors on it, but we'll see. We'll see when it happens. I did want to say one of our top fans from the show, commenter from our very first video at Teacher66, he chimed in with a prediction to me directly. He thought Jack Campbell will not only play, but he was going to knock out Kelce out of the game, which was the prediction he gave me before. He thought he was going to knock Kelce out of the game and put Kelce out for a few weeks, which,
wow.
I mean, if Kelce plays now, that seems very possible. And that Hutch was going to at least have 3 sacks in the Lions' victory. So I wanted to throw that out there.
He might need.
Unfortunately, Kansas City has the ultimate X factor in Patrick Mahomes. What I had here was that he has one of the best tight ends ever to throw to, which I do think Kelsey's going to play, but we'll see. They just won a Super Bowl. They're hanging the banner in Arrowhead. The place is going to be as loud as any venue in America. Extreme pressure on our mostly unproven wide receiver room. Counting on a couple of rookie playmakers in Laporta, Gibbs, Branch. Welcome to the NFL. National TV where the Chiefs have lived for years, prime time, in front of every football fan in America. I wish it was harder to say. But the reality of the situation is that the Lions win by 2 touchdowns, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
You think Mahomes can handle the pressure from Hutch and company? As I said before, Hutch going to town. Kaminsky going to town. Branch going to town. GJ going to town, baby. Come on. The entire MFN offense going to town. Going to town. You kidding me? It's a Lions W. The hype train continues. It's not even close.
Oh.
Give me the Lions. 2 touchdowns in front of the country. Don't care. I don't care if I'm wrong. Let's effing go. I'm so jacked for that game. I'm so jacked for that game.
They're shocking the world.
Shocking
No,
the
it's not
world.
really shocking to me if they were to win, especially if Kelsey's out. And
Just
Chris
to
Jones
win?
isn't playing.
No.
they're gonna have to get quick pressure on Mahomes. He's very quick at getting rid of the ball.
I wasn't joking
I
when I said
feel like
ultimate X factor.
I think Andy Reid's their X factor.
Eric Bieniemy
Oh.
left, bro. You think Andy Reid was holding that together?
Yes, I do.
Give me a break.
That's why Bieniemy didn't get a head coaching job. It was just Andy Reid.
Hey,
doing
dude.
it all.
Hey, Heineke looked pretty good in preseason in Washington,
Hey, Heineke looked pretty good before that, though. I thought.
but he looked better.
That's the only thing with if Kelsey's out. I wanted to throw this in there. Is Andy Reid is going to scheme up something, and it's going to be good.
It won't be good enough.
I think you're right.
Well, and you know the
Yeah.
saving grace of that, even outside of a homer stance, is that the secondary is
That's
so up. Well, I mean we're homers for. I mean,
Yes.
I'm
We're
a big
all wearing
Packer fan.
Lions gear.
I love the Packers.
What do you mean, Homer?
Yeah.
Will be I forgot my point now. I completely lost it.
Even on a homer stance. The Lions. Yeah.
Don't remember.
It's tough.
Lost
It's
it.
tough to say. It's tough to say. Lions, it's a homer stance. Chiefs are very good.
Don't do
Even
this to
without
me.
Kelsey. Andy Reid.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't remember.
I was trying to get
remember.
something. I was like,
Patrick
it's got to be
Mahomes.
connected.
Patrick Mahomes, ultimate X factor.
Ultimate X Factor.
No,
The most X factor.
I lost it.
Do
You
you
got
have
lost
another?
in how much he
Lost.
loves the Lions.
Do you have another road to go down from here?
Even if they lose.
Even if they lose.
This is so embarrassing. No,
I do it all the time.
yeah, no, I think if they play hard, you know, I don't know. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator in Washington, right?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. That I do remember now. So
Bless.
you got a mute button on that thing. I feel
Dude.
like.
Do I?
Yeah. Anyways, the second. This is ridiculous.
Dude, my allergies are out of control right now.
The secondary's upgraded. You know, it's a veteran group. You know, I feel like they'll be able to kind of better equipped to adjust to Andy Reid. But you're right, Andy Reid is the X factor here. I do feel like, because if he can't, man, he's such a good coach. I almost feel like the X factor is Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
And how he schemes it up and adjusts to Andy Reid, you know. So exciting stuff. Can't wait. I mean, you could really list so many X factors.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, you know.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
How's that offensive line gonna look? Are they gonna look the same? Is Vitae gonna get hurt within the first couple of quarters? we'll see. You know.
I mean, yeah, I think the two, honestly, the main X factors are the Lions' offensive line, because that affects so much of what the Lions have to do, and Patrick Mahomes, because he's who he is.
Yep.
I mean, if he's doing what he does, they're always going to have a chance to win.
He's the big dog.
So,
yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions won. I have them winning by at least 2 TDs. We'll see what
I have
happens.
them winning by 10.
The Lions by
Yep.
10.
Yep.
Why not?
Lions by 3.
I like it. I like that one too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So
All victory.
okay.
All
Well,
victories.
And
I got a couple would you rathers real quick. If you want to go first with yours from last week,
Let me do one. All right. Okay. Would you rather? I forgot about this. Wake up suddenly and realize you're at work and only in your underwear, or wake up that same way, only in your underwear, except you're at a funeral for one of your in-laws.
Jeez.
So you just wake up suddenly and well, I mean, the funeral, it could be any in-law. It could be a great aunt that nobody really knew. But it's still, all of your in-laws are there and you're in your underwear. Like, you just woke up and you're in your underwear at this funeral, or you're at work and you realize you're just in your tighties there, Bill.
The thing about,
I don't wear tight. I don't know where you. Yes, when I was a kid, I did.
The guy is obsessed with whitey tighties.
Yep.
Check his drawers. I will say the one thing about the funeral, though, is that if you're in your underwear, at least it's your family. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's your in-laws, but like, I mean, they probably know you pretty well at that point. And if you're passed out in your underwear, I'm sure they would think something might be up. At work, you just look like a crazy person. You're just like, ah, what's up? These are in-laws like, oh, that's Dean, you know? Like, I just passed out in his underwear in the funeral home again. I'm gonna go with the funeral home. In-laws funeral home. In a sad moment.
I agree. I
agree.
I agree. Same with Dean.
You got to live with that.
Yeah, but I think I could get over it.
You can get another job.
Yeah.
You can get another.
But you can get
another set of in-laws, but it's not as easy. It's easier to get another job.
That's true.
Like, what if they hate
is there
you
a
because
reason?
of this?
Is there a reason? I just show up, like,
you just wake up. You don't know why. You just woke up you just startled awake, and then you're like,
just black.
Oh, I'm at this funeral, and I have nothing on but my underwear.
Just start crying. That's all you gotta do. Just start crying. And they'll be like, "Oh, I just got so drunk last night.
I couldn't even get myself dressed. I was so sad.
I was dressed
over great Aunt Bertha. We know you never met her.
I really got in my feels. Last night I was feeling pretty sad. Life, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose I'd probably choose the funeral too, just because of those folks. Yeah. Although it would still suck.
Yeah,
there's no chance you ever live that down, and there is people who will hate you forever at every family function.
It's true.
At work, people are like, "That was messed up," and you probably are getting fired.
Yeah.
So, all right. So funeral it is. All right. So, would you rather, for the rest of your life, your occupation would be to pick belly button lint out of people's belly buttons, like full lint?
It's like a fun little game.
Yep. Or
that's your job.
That's it. Yeah, that's your job.
That's what you do every day, 8 hours a day.
Yes.
All right.
8 hours a day. Just picking the fuzzies.
Belly button lint.
All right. Hit that time clock. Picking belly
button. Clocking in.
Got the old timestamp.
$12.50 an hour. I can't get a raise for this.
Or would you rather pick people's noses to clear them out, but you only have to work half the year? Same pay.
$12.50 an hour.
Enough to support yourself.
Half the year. So.
Oh man.
Twice the holes.
170-ish days, 160 something days.
You're just picking
That you
bugs
have
all
to
day.
do it every day, 5 days a week or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, make your own schedule.
13 pay
whatever.
periods.
Make your own schedule. I'm
You
working
can make
third
your-
shift tonight.
I'm pretty flexible.
So it's my third
They're just
shift.
texting you with booger picking appointments.
Clear that old nasal cavity out.
Ugh.
So essentially 1 hole for every day of the year, 2 holes for half the year.
Well, let's just narrow this down to holes and we'll get it going. Wait, what was the 1 hole for a year?
The belly button lint.
Oh, the belly button.
You know how, but
It's a
you
hot
can't
hole.
like you can't just like scrape it out. You have to like go in and
You know, I don't know if in my head I can't reference a whole lot of times. I mean, I've had lint in my belly button before,
well, yeah.
but like it wasn't like an egregious thing. Like I just I don't know. Then again, it's 8 hours a day.
And it's just person.
That's a
after
lot of belly
person
button
after
picking,
person.
but then 8 hours a day of picking nostrils. I mean, and that's half the year.
But the other 6 months you're
But
off
you get 6 months off.
for the same pay.
So I mean, so it would probably go. I mean, if it's salary, then I'm probably taking the boogers. If it's hourly, I got to go with.
No,
the
it's the
belly
same.
button.
You make 60,000 a year. One or the other.
You think that's enough for my lifestyle?
I was just using that as a number.
Double it and then triple it.
What do the benefits look like?
Yeah.
I get a
Are they-
401
what's
or
the 401k match on that?
What's the insurance? Like, am I getting Blue Cross or what's going on there?
Same
It's all the same stuff.
Uncle Jemima's healthcare plan. Like, oh, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I mean,
$8,000 deductible.
It's 5 days a week. It's not 7 days a week. Do I get
5
2
days.
weeks? Do I get 2 weeks paid or what?
You get
2 weeks
well,
paid
if you're-
vacation.
No, if you're picking noses, then you get 6 months off.
Right. But if I just have to work all the time, all year, every year.
Yeah, do we get
With the
federal
belly button
holidays on this belly
Yeah,
button?
do I get weekends?
Yes,
holidays?
yes, you do.
So I, like 2 weeks.
This is a
off for
regular work
Christmas,
year.
or-
Regular work
but
year.
you get 6.
Regular.
You essentially
Regular
get
work year.
24 weeks off if you're clearing people's noses with your finger, no glove.
Yeah, but having to go back to that after having 6 months off would be awful.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Like-
good point.
Like, oh man, you're just like stress, like anxiety all the way up until like, man, now I gotta go pick these dudes' noses all day for 8 hours. And it's it's gonna be quick, relatively, right? So you're gonna have like
Right.
8 to 9 people.
It's going to be the
every
weirdest
hour.
people ever, too, because who's going to go in to get their nose picked? Just like
just
the
can't.
craziest.
You're on the go. You're like safe light repair.
Between people who have like a
Calling
paranoia
you in.
and people who get turned on by it. Those are the people you're receiving in either scenario, honestly.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking. This is like obviously like not a real world thing. In this situation,
But you're asking
like,
me to
that's
make
just
this
common.
decision like it is.
Yes, in your fantasy world, I'll pick whatever I want.
I guess the boogers. Like 6 months off is hard to pass up.
He's too lured in by the 6 months.
That would be pretty sweet.
I
That was-
just-
Is this for the rest of my life, or are we talking in 1 year? I mean,
No, this is it. This is your.
This is
this
your
is
my-
career
this is my
choice. Career
occupation.
choice.
then I'm going to go with the belly button
Yeah.
because I get regular vacation time, like I get now. I just have to do belly button lint pickings.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like,
I was
I'm
this
not-
close to
I'm
putting
not
a belly
surprised.
button.
Like thinking
I'm
about it, I'm just not grossed out by it. I'm like, okay, it's just
It's less
from their
gross, but
clothes. It's from their blankets.
Wouldn't that
6
be the
months
same
off.
deal as like taking the thing out of the Tylenol bottle?
Oh, like the
No.
cotton ball.
No,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
It's not.
It's just a cotton ball that you're picking on. It's belly cotton balls. that you're
Oh,
picking
now
on.
you're
The cotton balls in the medicine
No,
jars are untouched, placed in by a machine, and they have that.
I know
as
what you-
soon as
I
you
know.
pull it. Yes.
I don't like it either.
Exactly. Out of a belly button, there's probably even a touch of sweat. There's some warmth. There's
It's
like it's not going to be the same. It's going to be off of somebody's clothes. It's not a cotton ball.
right.
Even if it was, it wouldn't be the same as the ones in a medicine bottle.
All right, now say in an alternate universe, these belly buttons are
They're pristine belly buttons. that-
Everybody poops from their belly
Yes.
button.
Yes. Now, if you're saying a full line of just plastic medicine bottle belly buttons with cotton balls in them, yeah, I'll take the boogers.
right.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it every day for the rest of my life. Man, 5 days a week
Yeah.
messing with those.
Yeah, I'm like trying to.
It's
grind
making
in
my teeth.
I can't even.
I know.
I don't even like the feel like the roof of my car. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like that material. Ugh,
Really?
Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't like freak me out, but I just don't like the
turns
feel
him
of it.
on immensely.
Every time you get in your car, you're just so afraid.
I don't know. It's like the staticky feel. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. So,
Okay.
What would you
All right.
choose?
what
Psycho?
would I choose? The
Psycho
6 months
William?
off.
Yes. Huh? The
I'd
6
take
months
the
off?
6 months. Yeah. Oh yeah.
The bugs?
I'd be like, all right, sit down. Sit down.
Wow, that's a quick appointment. So how many of those do you have a day? 300?
I
Oh.
mean, are they lining up at the door? I don't know. But I mean,
People are lining up at
eventually
the
you come
door.
up with a method to make it quick. And you're just like,
Quick
maybe
I
you
don't
know,
feel like
who
what
knows?
you showed, Bill, your fingers are not equipped to do what you did.
It would be in that alternate world.
This alternate universe. Fair
So,
enough.
okay. All right. Well, that's enough on that. We'll get out of here for tonight. So anyways, thank you for watching tonight. Appreciate you guys checking our episodes. Please like or comment, subscribe. Enjoy Thursday's games and Saturday's games. I know after last week, I had to think about it real quick. So I'm like, when is this coming out? So it will be Saturday. And so you guys enjoy this weekend's games, and we'll see you next week.
Sports Talk.